You are listening to Gamers on Game. Woohoo! So we're doing something fun. We're doing something a little different, little crazy, little wow. This week, we're inviting the audience to give us a call here at KZSE in the on-air studio. But you must have a question that concerns the future of video games. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. We were going to talk about tech in video games.
Technology, the newest technology, and Paul being a programmer and on the edge of the newest technology.
Edge?
Are you on the other side?
Sure. Yeah, I'm past the edge.
You're in front of the wave? Are you so far in front that when you talk to people, they don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Even
sure, that's
geeks?
us. Yeah.
Even for the geeks?
No. We get baffled constantly. That's what's so cool about this career and what we do is that you're constantly finding new cool things to do and being amazed at what you didn't know.
Right. And so Lindsay,
It's okay.
Mr. Spencer.
I can't even pronounce your last name, so I'm just going to call you Nada, and I won't try to mess with you and say your last name.
Milkovic. Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to call you
Balkan
Milkovic.
name.
Yeah.
Nada Milkovic. With Spencer Lindsay, who is friends with Paul Reynolds and brought Paul into the station today. Y'all are friends from entertainment?
Yeah.
EA?
Yeah, Paul and I met down in San Diego when he was working at EA, or where were you working?
Yeah, EA at first.
Yeah,
and
he was
you were
working,
at Rockstar.
I was at Rockstar, and
right.
He was actually my next door neighbor. And
how?
yeah,
what are the odds?
I know. In North County, San Diego, actually, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, because my parents live in North County, San
there's
Diego.
a lot.
I just meet a bunch of old people.
Yeah,
and Marines.
Yeah, old people and Marines. Yeah, and game developers.
You'd think y'all stick out like sore thumbs in that environment.
Yeah. Well, look at Paul. He does not look like a game developer.
Well, the funny thing is,
do.
we actually never worked together in San Diego. So we lived on the same street. We commuted. Even our offices weren't that far from each other.
Yeah.
And we never actually worked on game projects together in San Diego. But
we rode motorcycles together and had barbecues and stuff, but we never.
Yeah, so we just got together, and that was
2002, 2003.
Ooh, back.
Yeah, and we've really just started working together in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And what are you guys doing together?
We're working on the Monterey Bay Aquarium projects. We've got one of them that we're working on, and we think we're going to be pitching a new one in a little bit.
Okay, so let's just go over that real quick.
Okay.
You got the touchy-feely plankton wall that's up right now.
Right.
At the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
That's right.
And you go up and you touch this little plankton, and it pops out, and you get all this information, and it looks really fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a 7-foot rear projected multi-touch wall. You can put as many people as you can fit in front of it to touch it, and you can touch all the plankton and spin them around. And
they're 3-dimensional.
Yeah, we're using the Unity game engine.
Unity.
Right. So we're building everything in Silo 3D is the modeling package that I use, and then it goes into Maya from there.
Maya.
And we do the animation in Maya and then bring it into Unity.
Excellent. And what part of that do you do, Paul?
I do all the software part. So Spencer makes the art, we put it in the engine, and then I do all the code that responds to the touches, animates, and
that's that user interface, that user experience interface.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just going wild in the past couple of years, huh?
Yeah, well, and this is actually our second exhibit with the aquarium, and I think they recognized early on that the younger visitor wants this interactive, touchy, very digital experience.
Which really has been recently introduced to the masses through the iPhone, iPad interface.
Yeah,
and iOS happens to have a really, what do I want to say? That it's conducive to a programmer such as yourself for the user experience.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I've done a fair amount of mobile stuff too, and there's no doubt that Apple has built And the new Android devices are built to be game machines. I mean, they've taken a big chunk out of the console market, which is the world we come from. You know, we did pretty much all console games for years.
Ah.
Right. Well, they've kind of lowered the barrier to entry for smaller game studios and independent operators like me and Paul, because before you couldn't you couldn't afford unless you were funded. To develop a PlayStation game, there was just no way you could even get to the place where you could know whether or not your code and art worked on a PlayStation, because a dev unit was $15,000.
Yeah, you had to. Used to be like, especially PlayStation 2 days, you had to submit your game idea to Sony for them to even approve before you even got started. And then if they approved, what that got you was the privilege to pay about $50,000 in fees and stuff to buy the hardware.
That sounds like a nice business model.
Yeah, for them,
for
it's
Sony,
great.
yeah. But that's the beauty of the iOS and the smartphones and the technology and the pad tablet technology. For instance, Team Crinoid will be here next week, and they're 3 recent graduates. In fact, they just graduated last summer from UCSC as undergrads and starting their own company. And
I met those guys. They're cool.
They're great, and they're such a great success, and it's truly a world that has opened up to so many geeks that before had been like you were saying, completely cost prohibitive for someone to even try, like on a lark, where now you can.
Yeah, everything's free. I mean, Unity you can download
it's
and
open
try
source.
for free.
No, it's not open source, but they have
it's free.
They have a free version that will watermark, and there's licensing restrictions and stuff.
Yes,
so you can't actually build a game for the App Store with free Unity.
Right.
But you can build you can build a
prototype and show it to somebody and say, hey, give me a little money so I can buy Unity.
Yeah.
And Unity is a San Francisco company. And
they're based out of they started
Danish.
Yeah, they started it in Europe, but yeah, their North American headquarters is San Francisco.
And another local game education company, Design 3, have free. I don't know if they're free classes, but it's a subscription-based tutorial classes where you can learn Unity.
Right. Design 3 does a whole bunch of Unity-based classes. Right.
That's right. And they'll take you from learning Photoshop to be able to even get into the 3D modeling, Maya, all of that. It's like they're the Lynda, if anyone is familiar with our audience, the lynda.com, which is a place where you can learn all different kinds of programs. Design 3 really wants to be the lynda.com for game development. And you are listening to Gamers on Game. Spencer Lindsay is in the house. Paul Reynolds. If you want to give us a call at 459-4036 and ask a question to these two amazing experts
Dorks.
They've gone from the console, PlayStation,
I'll go with dork.
EA, big, to now what they're doing, independent, creative games, educational games, because they can.
Yeah, well, we got tired of teaching kids how to, kill hookers and steal cars. So,
it's funny that you should mention that, because we talked about Grand Theft Auto last week, and that's one of those games that really enticed academic writing. There's a lot there. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, just a real brief thing on GTA. The guys at DMA did not put that. There's a little trick in there that you can play. You can get
some cheats.
You can get a prostitute, and then you can gain health by doing what you do with a prostitute, and then you can kill the prostitute and take your money back.
I know.
So this is
very upsetting to me.
Oh, it's very upsetting. It is. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing, right? It wasn't programmed into the game. The game is open enough to where people could do that if they chose to. It wasn't something that somebody, said, "Hey, we'll put this in the game." Yeah, it was an open, it was an open piece. So, was it the developers or was it the players that came up with that heinous act?
Oh, that's okay.
They call it emergent behavior.
It's emergent behavior, and it was, nasty emergent behavior. Do we have a caller?
Yeah, we got a caller.
We got a caller. Wow, cool. Push the right button. Push that button and this button.
Are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, are you there?
Okay.
Oh!
Try again. Yes, it's all about technology this hour. Yeah.
It's all my fault. Whoever that was, please call back.
If it was a call asking how to get into the video games business, tester is not the way.
No.
That is always the first thing that people ask and talk about.
Yeah.
They say they want to test. They want to be a tester. And
Right.
My response to that usually is, a chef doesn't want to eat all day.
Right.
And testing is a very grueling, thankless, usually contracted out by the big companies, meat grinder.
Meat
Yeah.
grinder.
Yeah.
Which we talked about a little bit
yeah.
about how game development could be a meat grinder in
Yeah.
some of these
Yeah,
bigger...
the whole business is kind of a meat grinder right now. You can definitely float to the top or swim to the top, fight your way to the top, however that works.
Fight the sharks!
You have to be really, really good and in the right place at the right time. It's very much like Hollywood now. I know a lot of at least when I was doing it, you could be the most amazing artist or programmer that the world has seen, and if you're on a title that does not go AAA, that doesn't do well, that gets panned, or it's just a crappy title, then your career doesn't get anything from your being amazing. It's from the game being amazing. So what you get is sometimes people luck out, and they're terrible artist or a terrible programmer, but yet they happened to be on this team that made an incredible game, and so their career advances. And so you'll see people you'll see people who
That would cause...
lucked out, and then their
Where's
associate
the
producer,
fairness?
right? Yeah, there is no
There
fairness.
is no fairness. Spencer Lindsay telling us how it is.
Yeah, well,
Here on Gamers on Game.
laying it down, right, Paul?
Yeah. Sure.
And Paul Reynolds.
So-
you both are partners. You're doing this Monterey Bay Aquarium. You've got one coming out.
Yeah, we have a new one that we're working on right now that we can't talk too much about. I can tell you that it's about jellyfish.
It's about jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
And is it touchy-feely?
I would say there's some touching
It's
involved.
interactive.
It's interactive.
It's interactive?
Yeah. It doesn't have a touchscreen, but there is touching involved.
Boy, that would be funny if you had like some kind of interaction where you get stung by...
Yeah, really, actually, it's a big wall with a can of mace, and you push the button and you get maced. That's it.
Right. You go screaming, Mommy! Yeah, jellyfish are scary that way. They have those really long tails, and they could...
Yeah, they can zap you.
They're not tails, actually. They're tentacles that can be very
tentacles.
long.
They have feeding arms, and they have mouth arms. They're trippy animals. They're very cool.
Yeah.
There's hardly
One
any
orifice, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they're basically a jelly
And a stomach.
Yeah, and then they've got this whole stomach thing up inside, right?
Right.
So there's not like a real digestion track or anything like that.
But I have to say, the Monterey Bay Aquarium created an installation prior to what you both are doing, Paul and Spencer. One of the most beautiful aquarium. What do I want to say? Is it like old school media where it's just, a tank, but you're able to press a button and the lights would go off or on, and you'd see, these incredible creatures that normally when you wouldn't be able to see.
Right.
They're bioluminescence, but without that light.
Right.
That specific light that glows them. Makes
Right,
them.
and that right there is like that really affected you. You still, I mean, that went away a while ago, and it's not there anymore.
What?
Well,
No.
I'm sure it'll come back
No.
in the next. Yeah, but no, the ability to push the lights on and off and
Oh,
stuff
right,
like
right,
that.
right. That's gone. But
That's
they
not there
still-
anymore.
they
But
still-
it made a huge impact on you. I mean, you're when you're talking about it, your eyes get all big, and you're like, whoa,
Well, it was
So-
like little light droplets on there, the tiny little ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the ctenophores, I think. The it looks like rainbow chasing lights down the sides of
That's
them.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Like little umbrellas with these.
Yeah. So
dripping, yeah.
those guys are. I think they'll be in the next one. But the fact that made such a big impact on you, that's the kind of stuff that we strive for with our digital stuff. We try
That's right.
that's what we're aiming for.
Right.
Is for people, 6 years later to go, I saw this thing when I was 35 and it was amazing, and.
I had to lick the wall.
Right. I was licking the walls. They had to pull me away. Stop licking the environment.
Nice. You know you've done a good art job.
Well, something that we just saw, no, I'm not sure what this has to do with licking wells, but something that I just saw this morning and passed off to Paul. And I think, I don't know, I'm not sure if you think it has value or not, but there's at CES, I think it was Samsung was showing one of their new displays. And it's a touch screen, but it's clear. So it's a glass window like the one behind me here, but you can touch it and you can have a UI on that window. So you make it really clear. It's a laptop LCD without a backlight, and you can see through it. And I thought that would be amazing to put on an aquarium, like just a square of little window on the side of the aquarium, and you touch the aquarium and things happen.
So is this like a React table?
It's a React table. I'm not sure what a React table is.
There was tables that came out a couple years ago, and you touch it, and you can create different digital interfaces, especially if you have a computer.
It's a touch display like that, yeah. But it's clear, and you can see through it.
Ah, sounds great.
Yeah.
So you both were at CES?
I know. No, we just been following.
Yeah.
Just looking at watching the Twitter feed. Every once in a while, someone goes, "Hey, look at this, it's cool." And, that's how I'm getting all my stuff now. I just killed Facebook.
I know.
You couldn't get a hold of me. See, that's why I don't use Facebook for business.
Well, I'm awfully grateful you're here, Spencer. Spencer, Lindsay, Paul Reynolds. So, Paul, how long you been up here in Santa Cruz?
I come about once a quarter and visit.
Oh, you're visiting.
Yeah.
You're still in San Diego.
No, I live in South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on the coast there.
Uh-huh. And
Myrtle Beach.
And so you're developing apps?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been an independent. I've gone independent since about 2004.
Wow.
And I just have always gotten contract work. I've contracted with bigger doing more game stuff than exhibit stuff off and on, and just work just kind of keeps coming. So I just kind of, and especially once the iPhone broke out, in 2006 or 7.
Paul's being really modest. Paul's a programmer, but he's also an incredible business guy. He and his wife run a dog bakery online and actually a physical store now. Paul and his partners started a digital newspaper magazine kind of thing in Myrtle Beach. He's constantly got his fingers in like 10 different pies.
So what's this dog bakery? You're not baking dogs, are you?
Well, yeah.
Treats for dogs.
Treats for dogs.
Yeah, no preservatives, all healthy ingredients. Yeah, we don't bake the actual animals.
I just want to make sure. I've never heard of a dog bakery. And what's the name of your dog bakery?
Baker's Dog, and it's bakersdog.com.
And then how about your digital work? Like, how would somebody be able to find you?
The easiest way is myr.sc, and what that is we're
myr.sc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're kind of concentrating on something you might be interested in. Actually, it's hyperlocal journalism, citizen journalism,
nice,
online, and we're actually the company runs that site, but we're actually developing the technology for other people to run their sites like that.
Excellent. And will there be streaming involved?
Possibly.
I'm really into streaming.
Yeah,
right now.
it's all about on monitoring online content around a community and aggregating and curating it, and that includes multimedia as well. MYR. Well, yeah, because we're in Myrtle Beach, so our airport code is MYR.
MYR.SC, South Carolina.
Right.
All right. Cool.
And when Paul flies out from Myrtle Beach to Monterey, he flies into MRY.
Right.
MR. That's cool.
Gets confusing.
So, what are you guys doing next? You've got you're finishing up the project.
Well, we're actually just right in the middle of building the jellyfish experience.
And you've got a new idea.
We have new ideas. We're doing the same thing that we did with the last one as far as the tools go. This one has a little bit more of a kind of a gamey feel to it at this point. We're not quite sure exactly where that's going to go, but it's a process. When you're working with a client like the Monterey Bay Aquarium, you have to I mean, there's a lot of people involved in making that exhibit. So you've got to, there's a lot of different. We work with a guy named Eric Nardone, who's the manager of the interactive exhibits there, and he's a great dude. But he also has to work with other people, like the designer of the thing, and the people who worry about, like, what font it's going to be used and what color this is going to be and stuff like that. So there's it's not designed by committee, but there's definitely a lot of committees that go on. In order to make this whole thing come together. It's a huge project. It's not just what we're doing. We're doing one little tiny piece of it, and there's aquarists in there, and they're putting big jelly tanks in, and it's exciting.
It's exciting. And marine biologists, making sure that the information is given in a way that a child can understand and make friendly to an adult?
Well, that's not marine biologists. That's more us. That's more us and Eric and probably the designer of the exhibit. The marine biologists, like we had Dr. George Matsumoto from Ambari last time, making calls for on the artwork that I was doing, saying, look, that's not what that looks like. You got to make it a little bit different this way. And so he was kind of our scientific process.
Right.
Nice. Have you guys talked about the AR stuff we've done before?
The AR stuff? No.
The artificial reality?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
Yeah, so
it's funny, I was going to ask you about augmented reality.
We did a prototype for a toy company that kind of blended augmented reality and video games, and we're talking about doing another project using augmented reality in the video in a gaming sense.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
There's a couple different types of augmented reality. So the one most people think about is running on your phone, and you hold your phone up and you kind of look around and stuff gets superimposed over what you're looking at. And then there's the other ones where you point your phone at like a marker and things happen on the marker that you can only see through the phone. And we actually have experimented and taken it another step further, and we've been able to make things into markers as opposed to markers being just these flat printed things. And you can play a whole game on top of like your desktop or your tabletop as long as that marker is in view, and as long as you move your phone or your mobile device around, all the 3D stuff adjusts appropriately.
Right.
So it's really cool.
We were doing this for Wowie Toys, and the idea was that you take a toy that you buy, from them, and you put it on your desk, and you take a picture with your iPhone, or you hold your little video camera up with your iPhone, and something comes out of the toy, or it basically makes, you can have a video game that interacts with the physical toy, so you're kind of blending.
Right on. Hey, just to let you all know that the Santa Cruz Derby Girls is a nonprofit amateur roller derby league that promotes women's local amateur sports competition, and the Derby Girls will be on next week. Next week here on Gamers on Game. On Wednesday, January 25th, the Derby Girls invite their fans and community members to the Santa Cruz Chamber Networking Mixer from 5 to 7 p.m., which will be held at their training facility at 2200 Delaware Avenue in Santa Cruz. Bring plenty of business cards and join the Derby Girls for an evening of food and drink donated by Lillian's Italian Kitchen, networking, and a chance to watch a roller derby demonstration. This event is open to the public and a small fee for chamber members and non-members. For more information, check their Facebook page, Santa Cruz Derby Girls.
So when is that? I want to go to that.
I want to go to that too.
Because I'm actually going to try out on Thursday to be a ref.
Oh, that is going to be January 25th, everybody.
January 25th.
Yeah. And then I'm going to have them on, and they're going to explain the Derby rules. Because Santa Cruz is a huge derby loving community.
That's taken over. That's big on the East Coast too.
And we're also a big game loving community as well. And Paul Reynolds, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
What a thrill to have you. I had no idea that you're on the East Coast here. Spencer didn't tell me. He's like, well, I'm not sure if you can make it, but I'm so glad you did.
Thank you.
Spencer, Lindsay.
Lindsay Spinsy.
Hey, if you missed any part of this show, please don't fret. You can go to Artist on Art. You'll be able to see all the links that we talked about, especially the myr.sc and how to get a hold of Lindsay, how to get a hold of Spencer.
You will eventually call me Spencer.
How to get a hold of Paul. And hey, everybody, please stay tuned for Folkasaurus, that fabulous folk show. And they play folk. It's folk 2.0. It's like modern, amazing folk.
Like speed folk?
It's
dub folk.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dub folk.
Dub folk. Nice.
Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. And let me know if you can hear this. Yes. Stay tuned for Folkasaurus. Spencer Lindsay, Paul Reynolds, thanks again.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, thanks for listening.